Hi, welcome back to the channel. So glad you could be here. I'm Holly. Today I'm reading Weird Neighbor Stories from Reddit. Let's get into it. I just had a weird interaction with my neighbor. Downstairs. I'm not really sure how to fix the situation because I don't think there's anything that I can really do about it. Backstory. My husband and I just moved into a 2-story apartment building a week ago today. It's an older building, but the property managers put in carpet throughout the apartment. Don't personally love that, but I understand the necessity for it to muffle sounds from the upstairs tenants if you live on the first floor. I just got a knock at my door with my downstairs neighbors wanting to make me aware that the walls are thin and the footfall is very loud if you live on the first floor. She prefaced by saying, "Oh, this is so awkward, and I'm sure you didn't realize how thin the walls and the floor were." She went on to say how she's been woken up at 6 a.m. on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, which is roughly when my husband and I have to wake up to get ready for work. I'm super irritated with her because I don't feel like my husband and I are doing anything wrong, but just moving around our apartment. Because we have carpet, we decided to make this a shoes-off home, so we're walking around barefoot or in socks on the carpet. And also, because we have to get up a little on the early side, we usually are in bed by 11 at the latest. We have been so exhausted from moving while being unable to take off any time from work to complete the move, and we basically just crashed on the couch almost as soon as we get home most days this week. It felt like a passive-aggressive interaction, and I also don't feel like we're in the wrong. I've been a downstairs neighbor before, and I've heard my upstairs neighbors, and it didn't bother me. The only time an upstairs neighbor ever irritated me was this one man in particular who had a disgusting habit of coughing and trying to hawk up a loogie at the same time, and was so loud about it that I could actually hear it through the ceiling. Ugh, my husband does that. Oh, it's ear-shattering. Oh my gosh. I don't want animosity with my neighbors, especially a place where we just moved into, but it feels a little ridiculous to come talk to me to make me aware when we've just been existing. Any advice? Sounds like you're being really quiet and calm and you don't have little ones running around or like dogs barking or anything. You're doing the best that you can do. This commenter says, "Live your life as normal and don't worry about it. You pay rent same as she does. You're not throwing parties nightly or stomping or other loud activities. Seriously, she chose to live on the ground floor. If she does it again, buy her earplugs. Be super friendly when you see her." Yeah. Just be friendly and be nice, and go about your day and don't worry about her. Agreed. Creepy neighbors. Have to rant about a weird-ass situation. I'm a 24-year-old female who lives alone on the first floor in a 1-bedroom. I've lived here for almost 5 years and have never had any problems besides my weird-ass neighbors. There's 3 people, a father, a son, and a mother, that all live in a 1-bedroom right above mine. The guy and wife have to be in their 60s and 70s because their son looks about 40. One night, I pulled into the parking lot around 2 a.m. with my cousin coming back from a friend's house. Of course, every time I pull in, they stare out their window at me every damn time. Knowing I was home, the guy comes and knocks on my door at 2 a.m. I thought he was just coming to tell me to turn the TV down, but he welcomed himself into my apartment, insisting that they lived in the same one years ago and that there was a way to the basement from my bedroom. He said he needed to flip the breaker for his oven because he was trying to make coffee. He's trying to get in your bedroom at 2 a.m.? Absolutely not. I was like, there's no way down there anywhere. And he went back upstairs. That was that. Then about a week later, he comes and knocks on my door again, asking if my landlord ever asked me before I moved into this unit if I wanted their apartment instead. I said no, and he was like, the landlord lied then. Then proceeded to say that if I was asked, I was a little bitch because they're old and the first floor is more convenient for them. Like, fuck you, goodbye. I told my landlord about all of this, and he said to start calling the cops. This dude has also been trying to sue my landlord because he fell outside. Crazy. I think they're getting evicted in June. This commenter says, please don't answer the door if he knocks again, and definitely don't let him come inside. Yeah, him trying to come into your house at 2? Weird. Our weird neighbor has actually stalked us. Little background, our neighbor has always been a little out there, thought it was just social awkwardness, and would approach my girlfriend every time she was outside doing lawn work or walk her dog and talk to herself to get her to turn around and respond. My girlfriend would always be nice and wave or say hello, and she took it as an invite to come over and banter about nothing, even while she was in the middle of mowing the lawn or leaving the house. Annoying in the beginning, yes. I caught her one day while we were talking to another neighbor look out her window and gave me a gut creepy feeling, which somehow led us down the rabbit hole of watching our security camera, and we began to notice how oblivious we were to some of the things that she does outside. She comes and stands on her porch staring at us, even when we're just getting into the car to leave or when we get home. She will walk her dog in our yard and in the yard across from our house, just always staring at our house. She even will open the blinds and gawk when she thinks she hears a car coming down the road, or open to stare at us if she doesn't come outside. This happens about 90% of the time we go outside, we've realized. We recently installed a better security cam. Ours was outdated, and anyway, she watched it be installed and has been doing even more odd stuff since this. And the fact that we've been so heaved that we started ignoring her altogether. She started doing very random weird stuff, including coming outside randomly to lock and unlock her car multiple times at night and stare at our house and camera, dumping buckets of small amounts of liquid across from our house in the yard that is not hers, randomly throughout the day and night. I'm at my wit's end with being watched, but I have bit my tongue to even say something because another one of our neighbors requested a temporary restraining order against her years ago for repeated violence. And she has an arrest for felony battery. Oh my God. We feel like the crazy ones when we explain everything to our parents because words cannot explain the bizarre and eerie actions and looks this woman gives us every time we step foot outside, close the door, go in our backyard, or God forbid turn on the porch light. She is opening her blinds. So many details I've missed, but hoping someone can relate and validate our situation. Oh, she sounds like an odd one. Little creepy, maybe a little dangerous. Yikes. Obsessive. I would just try to avoid her. This commenter says, I think the other neighbor's restraining order definitely validates what you're experiencing. For sure. Am I overreacting to some weird shit going on with my neighbors? My wife thinks I'm getting too freaked out over this situation, but something seems super weird about it. My wife and I live on the top floor of a 3-story apartment building at the end of the hallway. We spend afternoons and evenings on our balcony talking, occasionally smoking some pot, and just decompressing as we both work full-time jobs. A few weeks ago, some new people moved into an apartment on the ground floor of the next hallway over, on the side closest to us. They have a tub behind a bush near their patio for some reason, which I thought was a bit odd, but didn't really concern myself with. I have a lot of indoor plants, and we have a tub of soil and bags of perlite and such on the balcony, so I figured it must have just been for plants too. A few days ago, we were outside, and the guy that lives down there had 2 huge industrial garbage bags he was dragging out of the apartment that absolutely reeked of like that hot, rotten smell that a bag of food will get in the heat of summer. It's just now April, so I'm not sure how that smell was achieved without those bags sitting outside for ages. We could smell it from our balcony, and my God, even up there it was awful. There was another guy out there as well with his dog, and when the dude with the trash rounded the corner of the building to take it to the dumpster, dude with the dog went, "What the fuck is that smell?" We kind of shrugged it off and went inside a bit early. That was that. After that, if they were spending time outside, we decided we'd head back in, just in case something weird was going on that we didn't want to be involved in. My wife, God love her, is a bit of a loudmouth, and when she's... My wife, God love her, is a bit of a loudmouth when she's high, and I'll admit she was being a bit rude about it And that was also part of why I decided we should head in if they're going to be outside, because if you're going to be rude about a situation where they can hear, that's just not cool. Here's the part that has me nervous. Last night, we were lounging on our couch watching TV, and our doorbell camera caught some movement. I usually go take a look to see what's going on, and nearly every single time it's just our neighbor coming home. Except this time it wasn't. It looked like, at least to me, the same girl from the apartment the next hallway over. I will admit, I never got a good look at her, just the guy, but my wife said she's also pretty sure it's her. She was taking selfies by our door, which was the next hallway over, 2 flights of stairs up. If anyone wants to see the video, I can absolutely post it on YouTube and link it here. Oh, video. Something about this situation just doesn't sit right with me, and I can't tell in the video if she was taking pictures of her door or not, but I'm not sure why she would be. Maybe the dude with the dog said something about the trash bags or something. They thought it was us. Maybe they heard my wife talking and didn't like it. Nothing specific has happened, so I admit it's just my anxiety making me worry here, but I just can't shake the feeling something weird is going on. Every time I try to logically work through it, I get thrown off by the fact that she was in our hallway, on our floor, just taking selfies. Am I overreacting? And it may be odd that she's up there taking selfies, but the lighting just might be better. You know, sometimes I'll move around until I get the best lighting. Maybe the lighting was best up there. I mean, the smelly garbage situation is suspicious. Why would it smell that bad, and how would they have that much garbage if they just moved in? That's pretty creepy. We have a couple of edits. I've also told my wife to just let it go for now. Again, other than being a little weird, and one of the residents there being in our hallway taking pictures for seemingly no reason, they haven't actually done anything wrong. My mom took a look at the video and says it looked like she was starting to go up to our door. Then, when she saw we had a camera, she floundered for a fake reason to be there, taking pictures. I'm hoping the doorbell camera deters them from doing anything aggressive or questionable, but if it doesn't, we'll have some proof. This commenter says, try not to jump to negative conclusions right away, but it does sound a bit odd. Maybe report it to the property manager. Not file a complaint, just make them aware. Rotting hot food smell and a bin behind the bushes leads me to think it's possibly a compost bin. Have you noticed any new flowers, plants, or anything around that area, or disturbed dirt like they're prepping for a garden bed? Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, they could be saving all their food scraps and then just stinky. But 2 industrial sites bags, that sounds a little extreme. That'd be a lot of compost. I don't know. Weird. Should I share one of my own creepy neighbor stories? So a few years ago, I lived in this tiny town, and the neighbor behind us, he owned his house, and he was into some questionable things. He would yell at all hours of the night. He would blast music like Katy Perry and stuff like that at like 3 in the morning. When you looked out our back window into his yard, the back of his yard was dug out. There were tunnels and dig outs all throughout his little backyard. Like, we have no idea what he was doing. And he would be out there digging in the middle of the night. Yeah. No idea what he was up to. I think he was just maybe a little intoxicated all the time, you know, on a substance. And liked to dig. I don't know. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a lovely day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!